What's up, tribe? We are here for the Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 16, episode whatever, 13. Now listen. I don't even know what to do with this episode. Because when I tell you all of these women got on my nerves at some point in time in this episode, I don't even know what to do with this episode because I really wanted to defend Drew because I really felt like they doing too much on Drew, but Drew doesn't make it easy to defend her. We're going to get there. Girl, you know that's what I want. Y'all know I want Nicole's hairdo. Excuse me, from Beyond the Gates. Y'all know that's the hairdo I want. Thank you. You made my day, Montrez. Thank you, Cameron. Thank y'all. Oh my goodness, thank y'all. Y'all must know that I'm tired, honey. I done this my 4th live today, but we've been working and I've been enjoying y'all. So let me just come through and see if y'all had anything to say before I get into it. The nerve of Fedra speaking on Angela's face when Fedra can't keep her tongue in her mouth and keep scrunching up her face. How dreadful. Child. I don't know how the dinner went. It's crazy. I don't like how the dinner went. It's crazy how Drew gave her reason behind her statement and Porsha didn't get mad. Porsha's butt is fake. Shamia and Kelly are annoying and gang up on Drew is stupid. Britt is dumb. I'm so over. Damn, Quake. I told y'all Porsha butt was dumb, was fake. Y'all was the ones that was trying to talk me down, talking about they said that Porsha, what's her name? Porsha always had that, but they said that Porsha always had a donkadonk. Porsha ain't had that donkadonk. Not that one. Not the one we see. Not that one. Not that the one that's down to the Real Housewives. That one we didn't see. She had that one in high school. Moving right along. Shamia is the biggest disappointment. Angela clocked in just to straighten Shamia out about talking ish. I'm gonna need you to go in on Bristol Brokey for her lack of donations plus lying about it. Fedra for calling Angela young old face when she looked like she whitewashed her old face. And how y'all are cutting up in these comments. Damn. Oh Lord. I couldn't stop tweeting about this episode. These ladies are lame as F. Angela's freaking beautiful. She's more mature than them, but she doesn't look old to me. I don't know where they keep getting this old thing about Angela. I'm convinced production just doesn't like Kenya. They couldn't have vetted Britt. I'm not relitigating Kenya. Fedra did not interview, saying she's back on the Titanic to help make it rise up. But for some of y'all comments, she's failing at this. Oh, Fedra did an interview. Okay. Phaedra's obviously forcing an issue with everyone to align herself with Porsha. She literally went on the radio talking about Drew, singing her song, met with her husband, and is saying Drew is looking for an issue. Fake, just like y'all overly religious. Y'all are cutting the F up in these comments. Ooh, okay. Y'all are cutting up. My gosh. Okay. Whew. What was up with the unprovoked shade by Phaedra and her confessional? She is incredibly whack. Oh, I'm still stuck. Oh, Lord. Oh, gosh. Okay. Okay. All right. Moving right along. Woo! Y'all are cutting up in the comments. I ain't even get started yet. So first of all, listen, again, I don't know what to do with this episode. If I forget to say something, just drop it in the chat. I'll read it. I'll address it. I ain't taking no notes. Now, I took real good notes earlier. We was talking about the judge. I had about 5 pages of notes. Y'all don't have no notes. I'm just going through what I remember because this episode was a lot. So the first scene we see Shamia and they packing up the things for the people. You know, listen. I can appreciate that you want to let people know that you pay it forward. I'm all here for that. But sometimes when people be saying shit and I feel like they're just being, you saying stuff just to be saying it. So you told me that you cooked a 4-course meal, loaded it up in your Bentley, drove down to Tent City with your husband in the car, and your husband didn't know what you were doing. Your husband didn't know you had cooked the whole meal and packed it up in the back of the Bentley. Your husband didn't know that y'all was driving down to Tent City, and you proceeded to pull over to a homeless camp. That's what we call Tent City. And you proceeded to take the food out. And your husband was like, what we doing? What is this? And even if that did happen the way you said it happened, why would you put your husband out there like that? Like, I wouldn't want anybody to feel like my husband wasn't benevolent, right? If we giving back, then we give it back. If he giving back, if I'm giving back, we giving back together. I just was like, why would you say that? I can appreciate that y'all are giving things away and that you are teaching your kids that even though they are blessed, they have to give to receive. I can appreciate that. You know, my sister does that with my nephew before Christmas, before his birthday. She makes him go through his things and he has to take stuff down. You know, she doesn't take it to the Goodwill. She has friends who have kids that are younger, and he has to give those, toys he's not using and stuff like that. So I do think it's important to teach those lessons to the kids. But that was just, sometimes Shamia just say too fucking much, and it's just, ugh. So then, the ladies all gave donations. I'm gonna say this. I know that they shaded Britt in this scene, but can I be honest with y'all? I didn't see where anybody gave anything more than what Britt showed up with. I mean, they showed Cynthia's donation. Cynthia bought some diapers and a couple of bags of shit. And there's nothing wrong with what they gave. Let's be clear. I think that unless more was given that we didn't see. But when they showed what Cynthia gave, okay, it was a couple of boxes of diapers and some bags. Drew showed up with some bags full of stuff. Her assistant, I guess who that was, dropped it off. Kelly had a couple of cases of water. Now, I feel like Kelly probably had already made a couple of trips. I feel like Kelly had given more. I don't feel like the water was all she gave. And I'm sure that Shamia did give a lot. I don't think Shamia gave everything that was in that damn garage, though. But I do feel like Shamia did give a lot. I'm not taking nothing away from any of that. But what I am going to say is I don't feel like Britt did any less from what we saw. Now, maybe the other ladies gave more than what we saw. But, I mean, Britt showed up with 2 boxes. She had some toilet paper and some toiletries and shit. I mean, I don't know. President Taco gave Puerto Rico a bunch of paper towel rolls, and people thought that was cool. And when I say people, I mean MAGA. I don't mean me. I'm sure Kelly did. SCK, you said Britt did less, but based on what? Because it looked like she did the same shit everybody else did. But again, neither here nor there. Moving right along. Is it me or did Porsha's ass look extra fake tonight? I feel like Porsha might have got some more work done. But I could be wrong. It does look like Porsha got a lot more going on. I don't know if she went back in and did some enhancements or what, but it does look like Porsha has some more stuff done, but neither here nor there. Again, unless more was given that we didn't see, I just don't feel like it didn't look like it was that big of a difference. However, then Kelly wanted to talk about her event, and Kelly did throw her event planner under the bus in this scene. And again, we already know that lady then already came down here to the internet and told the people that not only was she not in charge of the things that they tried to say she was charged of the things, but that lady still owe her money. So it is what it is. She did her breast, yeah. And when you lift your breast, it does make a difference. It does make a difference. So then they talked about Porsha. Shamia let the ladies know that her and Porsha had a conversation, and there was. Okay. Britt and Shamia are making me talk slick, aka the talking equivalent of motion sickness. Oh, okay. She said that her and Porsha talked, they worked it out. Things change, people relationships evolve, people grow and they evolve, yada yada yada. Which to me, if I was talking to Shamia and that was what Shamia said to me, what that says to me, what I heard was her and Porsha still ain't in a good place. Because when you say, you know, sometimes people just grow and they evolve, that sounds like they still not in a good situation. But I mean, maybe that's what I heard versus what was said. I don't know, but that's what I heard, Chad. That's what I heard. Now, Porsha goes to talk to Drew. Now, here's the first example of what I mean when I say Drew be trying to make shit hard. Like, I was really trying to be here for Drew, but Drew, you making shit hard. So Porsha and Drew meet up to have tea. The first thing out of Porsha's mouth is, that's not go naked hair. First of all, didn't you fire her? So why does it matter what kind of hair she got on? Now, maybe production told her it was go naked hair. And that's when she was defending her go naked hair. And so then they're going to show the picture of her taking the picture and tagging go naked. Porsha going to say, it's a combination. Houseway? Houseway, is that a combination? Girl, you just don't like the hair. You don't like the style. Now, it seems like Drew was ready to go have this conversation with Porsha and clear the air with Porsha until she found out that Porsha had filmed with Ralph. See, here's the shit that I don't like, Porsha. Hey, here's the shit that I don't like, Porsha. Girl, just say I filmed with Ralph because she filmed with Dennis and I was on my get back. Just say I was on my get back. Just say that. Because for you to be like, Shamia was filming with Ralph and Shamia invited me to dinner. Girl, you knew Ralph was there. You knew the cameras were there. See, here's where y'all be playing in our faces. You have to be mic'd up. Like, let's pull the curtain back for a minute. Nobody just shows up. Unless they're not mic'd, nobody just shows up. And you can tell when somebody's not mic'd because then you can't hardly hear them. Ma'am, you were fully mic'd, Porsha. You knew, even if Shamia didn't tell you, which we know Shamia told you before you got there, that's the reason why your ass showed up, is because Ralph was there. But let's just assume for a minute you didn't know Ralph was there. Girl, they had to stop you at the door, put a mic on you, and let you go in. You mean to tell me that you didn't ask, oh, who's in there filming with Shamia? Because if you thought you were meeting Shamia for dinner and Shamia was already in there, girl, you ain't know? So don't play in my face. Now, you might feel some kind of way, and you might even feel like you're justified in getting your get back. And that's fine. I ain't about to sit here and argue with you about that. But don't sit here and play in our faces and act like you didn't know Ralph ass was going to be there. You absolutely knew. And even if all of that happened and Shamia set you up and you thought you was just having dinner with Shamia, so that's why you stopped to get your mic and all of that. When you saw Ralph, if you really felt some kind of way about about Drew filming with Dennis, and you felt like it was wrong, that was fucked up, I would never do that to you. And then you sat your ass down and had a whole conversation with him and let him talk about Drew the way he talked about Drew and let him drag Drew ass. Then I don't have nothing for you, Porsha. That's bullshit. Just say you was trying to get your get back. Absolutely. There was absolutely no reason for them to be feeling with RHOA. Now, I agree with you, SCK, and I said that from the beginning. I don't see what the fucking big deal is with her filming with Dennis, especially since it's part of her storyline. I don't even understand it. Like, we do understand it. We know what it is. We've talked about it before. We know what it is. We talked about it before. At the end of the day, Porsha thought she was getting back. She was coming back on this show and she was going to stunt on all of these hoes. That's what she thought was going to happen. She thought she was going to stunt on all of these hoes because she was going to flaunt this extravagant lifestyle with her rich ass prince, African king, African prince, whatever the hell it was. And she was going to come through here. She was going to be on her Shamia, pushing her Bentley in her $9 million, $7 million house, flying private jets all over the world. I was going to say the United States, child. All over the world. And when that fell through, you didn't have a backup plan. And your backup plan was going to be Dennis. But Dennis was already filming with Drew and had a whole storyline with Drew. That's really what this is about. We're going to call a thing a thing. I said it from episode 1, and I ain't changing it. So then they bring up who each person is dating. Now, Drew, Porsha ain't lying about you messing with this man named Black. And I'm going to tell you why Porsha ain't lying. Because Drew was very clear to say, he's my friend. He's my friend. He's just my friend. But when y'all got down there to the Grenada and you was in that room with Cynthia and Cynthia said, well, are you dating? Well, I have friends. I mean, I just have friends. And and Cynthia was like, friends with benefits? No, just a friend. Just a friend. Just a friend. I said it's Black. It's Black. Now, at the end of the day, I don't care. I don't care who she's dating. She just as single as Porsha is. Shit. She is just as single as Porsha is. Both of them still damn married. Exactly, Nikki. And Drew got more of a reason to bring up Future than Porsha got to bring up Black. Your husband put Future in his divorce papers. Now, if it's a lie, your husband told it. Okay? If it's a lie, Simon told it. Drew didn't pull that shit out her ass. But we don't know who this Black is. Who's Black? Now, here's why, Drew, you make it hard for me to defend you. This is why you make it hard for me. Because listen, I felt like the pile up on Drew this episode was some bullshit. I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like the pile up on Drew was some bullshit. And I'm gonna get to that a little bit later on. But let me tell you why. Drew, you make it hard. First of all, and I ain't about to make this no Love and Marriage Huntsville thing, but I used to say the same thing about Melody. It's that soft, condescending tone. Well, Porsha, I mean, I don't understand. I mean, the streets said that it's Future. I don't understand. Like, I don't like it. I don't like that condescending tone. It turns me off. It pisses me off. It irritates me. I don't like it. I don't like it. So, and then you keep cutting people off. Will you let these people finish? You didn't even let Porsha finish what she was saying. Even though it was bullshit, let's call a thing a thing. Even though it was bullshit what Porsha was saying, you didn't even let Porsha finish. You kept cutting her off. You kept interrupting her. Let that woman finish telling her lies. And then you can say whatever you want to say. I found it to be condescending, Chloe. You didn't, and that's fine. I found it to be condescending. She did the same thing in Grenada. I find that tone to be very condescending. If me and Drew were having a conversation, I would get irritated too. It's very condescending, her tone. And that's my opinion. That's how I took it. And that's why I said if I was sitting across the table from Drew, I'd have been pissed off too. Then, so Porsha gets up and leaves because she was like, look, I ain't doing this with you, Drew. You won't let me finish saying what I have to say. You won't let me finish my sentence, and I ain't doing this with you. So she gets up and leaves. I'd have got up and left too. There's a big difference between condescending and aggressive. There's a whole middle tone in there. So, like, so she should be hot and aggressive? No, she don't have to be hot and aggressive either. She can sit down and just have a fucking conversation with that woman. Hey, thank you, y'all. Oh, thank you, boo, for the love. I appreciate you. Drop it in from the clouds and say, if I was Drew, I would have lost it on Porsha, bringing up her having relations with Black, knowing she was going through a divorce. This interaction is being filmed, and the footage can be subpoenaed. Facts on facts on facts. That's all facts. And thank you, sweetheart. Porsha could not face the truth. That's why she left. And again, don't get me wrong. See, this way I think y'all get me wrong sometimes. I'm not defending Porsha just because I have a problem with what Drew did, and vice versa. I'm not defending Drew and going after Porsha. I'm looking at the situation piece by piece and just giving y'all how I feel. I already told y'all how I felt about Portia's ass. But on the flip side, I also can say, Drew, you making it hard for me to defend you because I feel like your tone was condescending and it would have pissed me off. That's me. But at the end of the day, Porsha, you on that bullshit. You've been on that bullshit from the beginning. Once you found out that Drew and Dennis was filming, you have made that your storyline. And it has fallen flat because nobody gives a fuck. The fans don't care. Your other castmates, the only other castmate that gave a damn for real, was Shamia. And that's only because she's your lapdog. Yep, I said it. The only reason why Shamia cared is because she's your lapdog. Don't nobody else on this cast give a fuck about Dennis filming with Drew. Especially since there's something to show for it. Drew done released the whole fucking album. So clearly they really were working together. Clearly there was some validity to that story. It wasn't just a bullshit storyline. Listen, but y'all just dropped out the clouds. Y'all watched the reality. How many reality TV shows have we watched, including shows like Love and Hip Hop, where people are supposed to be making music? How many times have we seen these people in the studio and we don't even get a single? They always in the studio and ain't never put shit out. Drew has released the whole damn album. So clearly, this wasn't just a storyline. Clearly, this was a real situation that she used as a storyline. Moving right along. So then we get over here to Kelly. Well, the ladies are packing for the trip. We don't care about that. Then we get over here to Kelly. Y'all, can I? Kelly is missing the first day of school because she's going on this trip. I'm going to be honest. I felt some kind of way about that. I get it. She's working. And I'm sure she needs the paycheck because she already told us how expensive this divorce is. She done already talked about, that her husband ain't helping. So I get it. She needs this paycheck. But can I tell y'all, in the midst of your children going through all the things that they're going through, with the divorce, with their father being absent, with all of the things that are happening in their life, can I tell you I felt some kind of way that she was missing the first day of school? Like, I don't know. I just feel like she couldn't have a conversation with production. I know she was hosting. I get it. I get it. But I don't know, y'all. That made me feel some kind of way with them girls already going through all the things that they were going through. Okay, you know what, Lock Queen? I agree with you. No, I'm sorry. That's Candy Loves. Can I tell you, I'm so sick of seeing the top of Kelly's areolas. Girl, like, we get it. You've got big tatas. But All you got to do is buy the right size. Like, they make your size. I know they make your size. Whenever you see outfits and you are seeing the top of the women's areolas, it's too small. And I'm sick of Brit too. Brit's another one. We always see the top of her area. Girl, buy the right size. That shit's not cute. I just don't find that to be cute. But anyway, moving right along, child. So we basically just saw, her PR, whoever that guy is, he's going to take the kids to school. And she said that he reached out. I mean, he said that he reached out to the husband. He said, me and him had a decent relationship. I thought maybe I could kind of talk to him about doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. And he basically told that man, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to do it. I'm never going to do it. No. And Kelly, as terrible as it is, let me be clear. As terrible as it is, and I don't want to sound heartless when I say this because I've never been through this situation. So let me be honest and let me say I've never been through this before. But as heartless as this may sound to you, girl, you're not the first. I'm sorry. I know that's a fucked up thing for me to say. I get it. But baby, you're not the first. You are not the first wife to have a husband leave her and leave the kids. It's not fair, but it is what it is. They say mama's baby, father's maybe. It is. Listen, girl, stop crying about having to be the only parent. You're lucky. You have a support system. You got some money in the bank. You have opportunities that some of these single parents don't have when the spouse decides to leave. Because it happens to men too. Women take off and leave, and the father has to become the sole provider. Unfortunately, it happens. And I'm not trying to sound like I'm not sensitive to it. However, moving right along. They should have a divorce group. You know what? They really could have a support group on the show. You ain't lying. Not Quake stupid. Not James Evans left for that job in Mississippi and died. It's M-I, quick a letter, I, quick a letter, I, humpback, I will never forget that. Baby, that's how I learned how to spell Mississippi because of Good Times. That's how I learned. I had never heard that before. I ain't never heard it since. But baby, every time I hear Mississippi, that's what I hear. Okay. I forgot to say this part about Fedra. Let me go on and get this out about Fedra before we move on. Fedra. Hey, girl. The fact that you had the audacity to talk about your experience on Married to Medicine and call those women mean girls when you have not said a positive word about anybody on this show from the first moment you stepped on the screen. All of your confessionals have been shade at these ladies. You have called these ladies everything. You even had the nerve to talk about Angela's face as if she's an unattractive woman. You talked about her age. You talked about Drew. You ain't talked about Shamia. At least I haven't heard. You talked about Britt. You talked about Kelly. Girl. And you had the nerve to call the ladies on Married to Medicine mean girls? No, the difference was it ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. Now, I'm still not saying that I agree with everything that went down on Married to Medicine. Baby, I'm not about to rehash any of the Married to Medicine shit. But what I am going to say is this shit was aimed at you. And so now it was a problem. Because when it's other people, it wasn't no issue. It wasn't no issue when you was throwing shade at other people, when you was accusing other people of all the things. Like, it wasn't no problem when it was that. But see, on Married to Medicine, you was new kid on the block and your ass got hazed, right? You was new kid on the block, and you must have forgot what it was like to get hazed, because when you came on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, you went straight at Nene. Nene just got your ass on the back and yanked you back and had to remind you who the fuck the HBIC was down to the Atlanta streets. But you got down there to Married to Medicine and thought because you brought a little seniority with you on Bravo that carried over from one show to the next. And Dr. Heavenly and them had to remind you, no, ma'am. You new here. You fresh meat here. And we're going to treat you as such. And it wasn't no fun when the rabbit had the gun. And that's why you took your ass back across the street over to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. But you're doing the exact same thing on Atlanta that you claim them women did to you down to the Married to Medicine. You don't have no reason to be in these confessionals dogging these women out. Had no reason to be talking about. You don't know half these women by your own admission. You don't even know half of these women. And then you're going to get in the car on the way from the airport talking about some. So who got beef? I mean, what's going on? Who got beef? So you're ready to jump head first into the deep end, right? So we found the plane. We get to Grenada. Yada, yada, yada. They do the welcome. We get to the resort. Bravo, come here. Bravo, come here. Let me tell you something, Bravo. And I'm calling Bravo. Don't nobody say it's different production companies. I don't want to hear nobody say that. Don't nobody tell me it's different production companies. I don't give a flying fig about it being different production companies. Can I tell you, I am sick and tired and sick of going on trips and we having these room situations. There is absolutely I gave y'all a pass on Nashville, okay? Because of the whole situation that was going on with Porsha and Drew, and I thought it was, okay, they put her in the room with the bunk beds. And let me tell y'all something. There is absolutely, positively no reason in the world why these women can't all get a fucking queen or king size bed. I'm so sick of it. I am so sick of these grown-ass women fighting over a fucking room. And then Shamia got the nerve to say, yeah, because I could have put Drew in the bedroom. You did. What you mean I could have put Drew in the bedroom? Ma'am, that is exactly what you did. You put her in a room with 2 twin-size beds. How is that not the worst room? They were the only ones that had twin-size beds in their room. Everybody else had either 2 kings, a king and a queen. You did give her the worst fucking room. You just didn't expect her to wrestle Cynthia ass down to the ground to get the queen size bed that she gave away anyway. That's not, you didn't expect that. I am so sick of this shit. When it happens on Potomac too. It happens on Potomac too. I ain't gonna say that it just happened to be the 2 melanated shows. But when them ladies went down to St. Lucia, down to the St. Lucia last season on the Real Housewives on Beverly Hills, both of them had their own bungalows, right? They divided the group in half. And one group, they had their own rooms and they had their own separate bungalow. And the other half of the group, they had their own rooms and they had their own separate bungalow. I think Kathy and Kyle shared a room because they sisters. My thing is this. I understand that different shows have different budgets because it is different production companies. I understand that. But here's what I don't understand. There should never be a situation where these grown-ass women are fighting over not being in a fucking bunk bed or a twin size bed. I'm sorry. I'm just not. Absolutely not. I'm not. And it does happen on the other shows. I understand that. But it just seemed like I just got finished watching Beverly Hills. And I didn't see it happen on Beverly Hills. Okay? I ain't see it happen on Beverly Hills. I'm not saying this never happened on Beverly Hills, because hell, Beverly Hills, what they in season 16 or some shit? I ain't saying it never happens on Beverly Hills. I'm just saying. I'm just sick of it. I don't care. And let me be clear. I don't care whether it's the white franchises or the black franchise. I don't care. I'm sick of it. I just feel like in the grand scheme of things, we shouldn't be fighting over. Now, I understand fighting over the best room, right? I'm okay for, oh, well, there's only 3 rooms that have a balcony. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. There's only 3 rooms that have the balcony. That's fine. I mean, the balcony, that's fine. But a bunk bed, a twin size bed, I would absolutely not. Absolutely not. They had another bungalow. They could have just rented 3 bungalows instead of 2. They had another bungalow they could have put them women in. Anyway, neither here nor there, child. Neither here nor there. And they stopped them from leaving to get their own lounge. I don't even know what you're talking about now. Y'all talking about something else. Y'all in the chat. Hold on, let me see what y'all talking about in the chat. What y'all saying? Beverly Hills got the money. The women on Beverly Hills, but the production company is the production company. Now, there are times when people take money out of their own pocket and they add to the trip. So there have been situations where this is what the production company is paying, and the ladies say, nah, we're going to add to it. That has happened. Now, that does happen. As much as y'all hate Monique, I know y'all hate Monique Samuels, but Monique actually, that trip that they took to France, Monique actually paid for that out of her pocket. That was why when it came down for them plane tickets and she had that free upgrade, she upgraded to first class, and she took what's her name? Sharice with her. That's why that happened that way, because Monique actually did pay for that out of her pocket. She paid for the flights and she paid for the hotel. Probably because they were only going to pay a certain amount of money, and she paid whatever the difference was. So now that does happen. So on the shows that have more, where the people have a little bit more money, they do that. So sometimes it's not the production company. And of course, on shows like Beverly Hills, where the women do have more money, there are times when they probably add to it or upgrade themselves. So that does happen. That does happen sometimes. Okay. They can't leave to get their own hotel and lounge anymore. If they leave, they don't get paid. They want them to have the drama. Oh, that's what you were saying. Got it. That makes sense. Because, I mean, if you're not there filming, so I could see that. Okay. So then, Miami fighting over. I'm trying to, y'all know I haven't watched all of the seasons of Miami, so I can't, yeah. I can't say. There you go, Universal Goddess. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. So thank you, Staff J75. Not to make this about race, but they really do put in lackluster attempt for the black shows. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, where Monica was present. All of the rooms were top tier. Oh, see? Yeah. And again, like I said, sometimes the ladies will upgrade them, upgrade. Like, again, if they're the host of the trip, they will upgrade. I've seen that happen. Now, I don't know I know that they can't, like what Lady of Soul was saying, they can't leave. They ain't supposed to just leave, but they can't upgrade. But anyway, moving right along. So we get there, and now all of a sudden, it's like they're making it seem like everybody has beef with Drew. Let's be clear. Excuse me. Let's be clear. The only person that has beef with Drew is Porsha and Shamia. Or the only people, I should say, that have beef with Drew is Porsha and Shamia. Nobody else has any legitimate beef with Drew. Britt don't have no legitimate beef with Drew. Kelly don't have no legitimate beef with Drew. Cynthia damn sure don't have no beef with Drew. Porsha don't even fucking ain't been there but 5 minutes. So when they start talking about something, everybody's got problems with Drew. Everybody's beefing with Drew. Everybody is not beefing with Drew. Now, Shamia, and I'm glad that Drew cleared it up when Drew said, I was not saying that I spoke 5 different languages. I was talking about love languages. Man, if you had listened to the song, you would know what the fuck Drew was talking about. It was very clear. I didn't misunderstand anything. I didn't misunderstand anything. Shamia, you went down to the radio station and you spent the whole time that you was down to the radio station shading Shamia, talking shit about Shamia, all of the things. So again, see, this is the shit that be making me mad. Now, Shamia says later on that she has an issue when people don't like, she don't like that talking behind people's back, and she don't like, she said, yeah, I did, go back to Porsha, and I did do this and I did do that, because I hate when people talk behind my back and don't have nothing to say to my face. So when Drew tagged you, when she added you in her post saying some people got fake beef, why was you mad? Why were you mad, girl? Because she tagged you and let you know. Why you mad? That's all I'm saying. What you mad for? So then we see Cynthia talking to Drew, and Drew, they were basically talking about that. Now, in Cynthia's mind, she feel like Drew and Porsha are just even and they should move on. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to say I feel like they're even and they should move on, but I do feel like they should just move the fuck on. I done already addressed the Drew Porsha of it all, and I just feel like they should just move the fuck on. Then we saw Shamia talking to Kelly. Kelly want to be Porsha so bad. Kelly wants Porsha's spot so bad. So bad, Kelly wants Porsha's spot. So she is just all up and through. She is just all up and through anything Shamia got to say. Yeah, girl. Yeah, because everybody got beef with Drew. What we need to do about Drew? How we going to deal with Drew? Girl, don't nobody have beef with Drew except for Porsha and Shamia. That's it. That's all. So I didn't even understand that whole thought process, and they lost Shamia's luggage. And once again, Shamia, you just say too damn much. Like, it's so unnecessary. Like, it's like the line is here and you just got to keep going. And maybe it's me. Maybe I'm just a prude, right? Maybe I'm just a prude. But I feel like it's understood that if your luggage didn't make it there, that the majority of your clothes is in your luggage. Like, did you have to? Yeah, because, I don't want to dance too hard because my underwear might get dirty and I ain't going to have a new pair. Girl, what? First of all, you had a whole Louis Vuitton carry-on suitcase. I know you had some clean drawers in your carry-on. You had clean clothes. I always carry a change of clothes in my carry-on. Even if I just take a book bag. There are times when all I take as a carry-on is a book bag. And I always roll a change of clothes, including undergarments. I always have a toothbrush, toothpaste. I always have that because I know I can get anything else I need at the hotel, soap, whatever. But I always keep that in my carry-on because you never know if your luggage is going to come up missing. And I figure at least that way, I got at least one change of clothes with me. Girl, you had a whole suitcase and a duffel. Like, you had a carry-on bag and like a duffel bag. I saw you wheeling your shit out the airport, Shamia. Girl, they lost the majority of your luggage. I mean, the majority of your luggage didn't make it on the plane. But girl, you had clothes. So I didn't even, and I didn't need to hear you talking about dirty drawers. Like I just, yeah. And then did y'all see when they show her getting dressed and she sprayed under her dress? I guess air freshener or something or whatever it was that she sprayed. It's like, the fuck? Anyway. Moving right along. So the ladies are getting together to go to dinner. We saw the rooms. They're nice, beautiful, beautiful rooms, beautiful views, yada, yada, yada. Porsha was flirting with the chef. Now, one thing we know about Porsha definitely know how to eat. That's why I know that Porsha be getting that shit sucked up out of her. Because Porsha knows she gonna put some food on. Porsha gonna eat. Now, I don't know. Porsha must have a hell of a workout regimen because Porsha is gonna eat. But anyway, they go out to dinner. Look like a nice little restaurant they went to dinner. And they want to have a conversation about everybody having a problem with Drew. It's funny to me how everybody had a problem with Drew, but it was just Porsha and Shamia that had the problem with Drew. Right, but she was a baby vegan, right? She ain't no baby vegan now. But Candy don't be Candy don't be doing it. Candy be like, Candy gonna eat. Y'all know Candy gonna get a plate. But they get to the so anyway, they get to talking, and I feel like we're having the same conversation. And once again, and I know me and Chloe don't agree, and that's okay, boo. I love you. And I hope you still love me too. But once again, Drew is talking in that condescending ass voice, and she keep cutting people off. Listen, I agree with what Drew said. You carry back false information. You misrepresented what I said. You made it seem like I said that I was gonna pay Pilar's college. And what I said was that the money we was gonna make off this project was gonna put her through. Okay. Once again, and I'm at this point, and I know Porsha will never admit it because Porsha is just that type of stubborn. But at this point, now Porsha, you now know that is not what you know exactly what Drew said because you heard it and they keep playing it back. Okay, and I hope Andy brings it up at the reunion because I would love to hear what Porsha has to say now that we've heard it play back. Okay, so then Shamia was like, well, you double down on calling me a lapdog. And I just feel some kind of way that you double down on calling me a lapdog. Drew was like, listen, this shit cracked me up. Here goes Drew. I mean, a hit dog will. Now, granted, the term a hit dog will holler does not have anything to do with calling somebody a dog. But because we were already having the conversation about dogs, this shit was funny. I'm sorry. This shit was funny, Drew. A hit dog will holler. You knew, Drew. You knew. Baby, that thing was funny to me. So baby, Shamia was mad all over again. Porsha, child, again, it's old beef. I feel like we've been talking about it since the first episode. Porsha did admit that she came in hot, that she didn't use her words well, and that she didn't handle the situation well the first episode, and that's why she chose not to speak on it. And again, Porsha, I must call bullshit. I'm sorry, Porsha. I still got to call bullshit. And I'm going to tell you why I still got to call bullshit. Girl, you knew what you was doing. Again, you needed a storyline. You were trying to create one with Drew. You needed a storyline, and you were trying to create one with Drew. You knew exactly what you were doing. It's just that it fell flat, and people didn't jump on the bandwagon like you thought they were, so you didn't know where to go with it. You didn't know where to go left or right. You tried to turn on the waterworks with Dennis and tried to cry, and Dennis was like, girl, you tripping? What you doing? Why you making a big deal? Like, It just didn't work. That's why you backed up off of it. But then by that point, Drew was like, girl, what's going on? What's the real deal? And Drew did acknowledge that she could have tried harder to talk to Porsha. But she said, but Dennis told me we was good. And Porsha said, well, he lied to you. Why you couldn't accept that as an explanation the first episode? When Drew said it the first time, why you couldn't accept it? Now all of a sudden, oh, well, he lied to you. Don said we don't have 300 likes, y'all. It's 300 of y'all in here. If y'all can hit that like button, I appreciate it. It's a shame and Porsha as the first chair. I'm not watching. If it the essence said that of its shames and I know the spell check got. I mean, the autocorrect got you. I'm just not sure what you were saying. You said if Shamia and Porsha get the first chair, you're not watching. Oh, okay. I feel like that's what you're trying to say. I ain't feel like going live. T said y'all ain't even getting a live out of this episode, baby. The episode was dry. And again, I felt like it was a false narrative to make it seem like everybody had beef with Drew. Everybody did not have beef with Drew. Them two hens had beef with Drew, Shamia and Porsha. Because once the two of them got done talking, child, nobody else had anything to say. And then Britt, who just got to say something, she going to say, I just want to say to Fedra, that Apollo and his wife were invited to my event through my husband, but I just want to let you know that there's no beef. Now, I'm going to be honest. I know a lot of people were side-eyeing Britt when she said that, and they were like, girl, read the room. What you talking about? Why you just got something to say? But I'm going to be honest and tell y'all, I don't think that was a bad move for her. I really don't think that was a bad move on her part to say that. And I'm going to tell you why. Everybody knows that across the street, over to the Married to Medicine, that the whole inviting Apollo was an issue and it became an issue, right? The whole Apollo of it all was a problem. Everybody across the street knew that. They knew that. Also, I feel like Britt didn't want her to be able to use it later on as a storyline. And be like, oh, so you know my husband? Oh, I mean, you know Apollo? Oh, Apollo, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I don't think it was a bad idea for her to say, listen, I just want you to know I wasn't trying to be shady. I wasn't trying to start no shit. They were invited to my event because they didn't show up. Because trust and believe, if they were there, they would have got a cameo. You know, they would have found a way to let us know that Apollo was in the house. So clearly they didn't come. But I didn't feel like it was a bad thing for her to bring it up if there was a chance that it would come up later, because y'all know how these women are. Then they could have just thrown it in her face and be like, oh, so you were just being shady. Why would you invite Fedra's ex-husband? Now, Fedra sat there and act like she didn't care. Girl, you cared about Apollo showing up down to the Married to Madison. You cared about him showing up down there across the street. Again, I didn't feel like that was an issue what Britt did. She don't have much storyline. She filmed for 2 days. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, again, the smallest thing can become a storyline. And I guess Britt was like, yeah, I already got everybody hating on me because of Kenya. I ain't trying to put no more out there. I don't want nobody to think I was trying to come for Fedra. I don't know. But I didn't think that was a silly thing, personally. Again, I can give Britt a whole lot of silly, but that wasn't it. Anyway, y'all, that was pretty much all I have. Don't forget, tomorrow night, the Whether You Like It or Not panel will be live and in living color. We will be on Sakina's channel. We will be over at Sakina's house. It looks like Kelly and Britt get into it next episode. It looks like the breakdown starts next episode from the previews. It looks like when they started talking about her event, and then I guess they're going to talk about how she didn't give enough donations. And it looks like Kelly was sort of co-signing it. So again, that's what it looks like is going to happen next week. Looks like the breakdown. So that's what it looks like. Okay. But that's what we have, you guys. So they clickbaited us. When? Who clickbaited you? What you mean? The essence aesthetic. What you mean? Because they previewed it last episode. Oh! I see what you're saying. Well, you know that's what they're gonna do, child. Not Sakina eats more than Candy and Porsha. Ooh, Nikki B, I'ma tell her. I'm gonna tell her. Yeah, T said he ain't going live. So we'll see T tomorrow night. You know he gonna do this half the episode. But we'll be there tomorrow over on Simply Sakina's house. It'll be shared out on all of our channels, even though everybody should be subscribed to Sakina, but just in case you're not yet, it will be shared on all of our community walls. And I will see y'all later. I'm about to take my shower and go to bed. Baby, I've been on YouTube all day. I've been on YouTube all day long. Thank you again for everybody for showing love for the super chats. Please, if you haven't done so already, please hit that like button. Thank you, y'all. Thank you, Staff J75 for the super chats. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for all the likes. And anybody new that came through and subscribed, thank you for the subscription. I'm going to talk to y'all tomorrow. Peace.